You saying hi? Alright. Building a little mezzanine in the garage so we have a place to throw all the crap that we never use but can't throw out. You know, as soon as you throw it out, you'll need it. So, been working on that. Yeah. Got the dash in the S10 here. This is going to be a big update, I guess, but I got some of these the truck harness, you know, the lights and whatnot. I just got to tuck that stuff up. I tidied it up quite a bit over here. I mean, you still see it, but I don't really want to cut down that harness because I'd like to put it in another vehicle eventually. This is just one of those Jegs aluminum dashboards. Still has the plastic on it, I'll take it off, but it's just got these struts here that mount to the factory locations, and then, not that I think you can really see it because I don't have a flashlight, but there's some tabs right there, which this is riveted to it, and then it's screwed into the factory kind of locations. Get the steering wheel going the right way finally. I got this shifter mounted. It's like the cheapest shifter you can buy. It's a TCI something or other. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, downshifting it's definitely kind of a pain with the gates, but as far as upshifting it goes, it's pretty straightforward. So if you're in first, you just hit it and it'll smack into the gate and stop until you get some pressure off of it. So it's first, second, third, fourth, so on, and lock out. Back to park. Got these different radiator mounts in. This is going to be a big so much an update, but I'm just kind of tired of all the other videos. I still really need to buy a nicer camera, but yeah, I wrapped this exhaust manifold a bit, not all the way. There isn't really much stuff over here to worry about, but I put some on there. Got the band clamp with the wide band oxygen sensor in. Need to clearance this maybe a little more, and luckily the engine rocks, you know, that way, so yeah. So I got a clip on the neon sign. This radiator hose is off a full-size truck, so it's a bit long. So I think to make it work decently, I actually need to cut it down, like to narrow it, or take some of it out here, some out here, and take some of it out here and there. Try to get it more going across the top of the radiator, or even fit it underneath the air filter. This was just going to be temporary, but it's on there, so yeah. I don't even know how I'm going to get a hood on here anyhow. I'm eventually going to have to cut out the hood and probably put a cowl on it. It hits the intake manifold. I was going to have like a 45 on here and just have the cone filter sticking up out of the hood, which, I mean, kind of looks silly, but I kind of like that anyhow. I wasn't being real serious with this build. Wrapped this manifold pretty good. Definitely helped some of the heat building up around that steering shaft, and because there's not really any clearance there. I mean, it's, you know, it might even be touching very lightly. Probably need to put some more on this pipe here, just because there is a piece of conduit right here. I haven't had any issues with it yet. I've let it run for quite a while. I mean, it gets up to temperature. but only time will tell. Yeah, more on the floor. I actually took an old Mustang door skin I had that already had this kind of body line in it or whatever, and it happens to line up good with the S10 line up here, and so that's actually Mustang door, and I stitch welded it kind of in all the way around, and I also tabbed it in with some fiberglass mat just to kind of seal it up good. And then this whole thing has been rolled with that Raptor truck bed liner. It's pretty affordable, and it seems really strong, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I'm happy with it. But the rollers, usually is a spray-in, but I got the rolling kit, and the rollers are made of foam, and they just disintegrated with the bed liner. So I don't know why they even sell, or why they even give you the foam rollers, because they just, I mean, I went through both of them in half an hour, if that. I mean, it didn't get me far at all. So if you do get the Raptor bed liner, definitely get either the spray-in or get those, I think Duplicolor, DuPont, somebody makes the ones that are like little nylon loops on the roller. Those I imagine would not fall apart. Yeah, I got the dash in there, so I figured I'll just mount the touch screen there. And I have a little wireless keyboard. I guess I didn't show you, but because I really won't use the touch option much, but it would be nice, you know, for certain things, if you needed just to select a menu or pull up a different gauge, then that'd be pretty easy to do. What's that fuse panel? There's the shifter. Just let it, now that I got the wideband in there, I was adjusting the mixture a bit last night because it was running way too rich, but without the wideband, you know, I just kind of added some fuel to where it seemed happy. But now it's definitely better being leaned out, and I guess I need to put the right key in. There's the fuel pump. We're in park. I'm at the brake anyhow. And there we go. I don't know what you can hear, but fires right up. Runs pretty great. Keys up here. Pretty happy with it. I hear the Ford Explorer rear ends with the leaf springs will just about bolt right in here, so I may do that for a rear end, because this is just the 7.5 inch 10 bolt or whatever you want to call it. Not very strong, and you know, I'd like to put a spool in it. So it's just going to be a drag truck really, so it just has an open differential, and it just has no problem just spinning the tires like crazy. This is something I threw together. This is a single board computer. It's called the Atomic Pi. It's like a leftover from some project, some Kickstarter or something. But anyhow, it's got a Intel processor. I think it's the Fire Trail or Cherry Trail, something like that. I forget. It's pretty quick. It's got Linux on it. Just stuck these antennas on here. Those are just Wi-Fi antennas. And then it only has one. This is only 35 bucks, so, and it got a lot more power than the Raspberry Pi 3 B Plus. They just came out that Raspberry Pi 4, so I'll probably be upgrading to that, and a touchscreen from Raspberry Pi. Anyhow, yeah, just a USB hub. This is a 12 volt to 5 volt converter. This is my Arduino based microcontroller for controlling the transmission. I built all the control circuitry on here, and then this is a CAN bus. You get a smaller jumper. This is a CAN bus interface module, so this will talk to my micro squirt, and I can actually get the throttle position and RPMs that way. And then eventually I'm also going to add a forget the number, but the VR conditioner circuit to attach to the VR sensor in the transmission to get the speed of the vehicle. And then I can even send CAN messages over to the micro squirt of the vehicle speed, so I can have that on my dash. This is actually the touchscreen that I got for just this setup, but like I said, I'll probably eventually upgrade to all the Raspberry Pi stuff. They have a really nice case that holds the screen and the Pi, and a nice hinge thing I can fold it on. I was building a little case for this out of acrylic, and I ordered the acrylic glue over 2 weeks ago, and they still haven't shipped it, so I'm trying to get my money back or something, because it's holding me up on making this. I got a couple sheets cut, but I need to glue them together to make like a little enclosure for that, and then I will just stick that on my dash, probably with just some Velcro. And then this is mounted to a block of wood only because it's really rigid. I didn't want this circuit board getting a lot of flexing or vibrating with the truck, which is fine. Nobody's gonna see it. Like I said, the Raspberry Pi stuff will be a lot nicer, but this will work. It was cheap. I already had some of the stuff. I'm probably just gonna stick this up underneath the dash with using some foam or Velcro just to try to keep the vibrations out of it. These are just kind of open electronics, so hopefully it stays fairly clean up under the dash. I vacuumed the truck out pretty good, but I expect that dust or metal dust is going to get on here and cause problems eventually.